G'day my land before time lovers. Last week we did a tutorial on how to make this cutie, Littlefoot. And this week we're going to be making Spike and Ducky. Now these two are a cute duo and I can't wait to get started. So we'll see you inside. Let's go. Okay, to make Ducky and Spike you're going to want your usual armature materials. We're just going to click straight to the point here. Now I've made him nice and chunky, but we will be going over him with some polymer clay. So grab your Sculpey Bacon Bond and start smoothing it over that chubby little body. Make sure you get it into all those cracks and crannies. Okay, now you'll want to grab your clay. I just rolled it out in my pass machine at setting 2. And I'm grabbing a silicone tip tool here to help me smush it into all those tricky and hard to reach areas. Once you've got that first layer applied to the sculpture, you'll want to start coming in with all those muscular details. So Spike's always got a chunky sort of frame and shoulders, so we'll be using a lot of clay to pad him out. Make sure to give enough to his rump and his ankles, his cankles, so that we can come in later and give good wrinkles in there. And I've added extra chunks to his tail and neck so he can have a little bit of extra chub in those areas too. When that's all done and you're happy with the general shape, you can start coming in and smoothing out the sculpture. So I use a combination of my silicone tip tool and my fingers. He's starting to look pretty good, so let's just click straight to the finish of that one. Okay, now he's starting to look more like a Spike that I know of for the land before time. Before we go into any of the details with the dental pick tool, we're going to want to start doing the head. So grab a ball of clay and start adding on extra bits here too. We want to make sure to give him a nice chubby little smile. The kind of chubby cheeks that Grandma would love to pinch. When you're happy with the general shape of his head, you can get ready to apply it to the body. But first of all, we're going to want to put in some eyes. So once again, I've been on Etsy and I've purchased a couple of these pre-made eyes. Got some nice pinky purple ones because I thought that would suit Spike just right. And don't forget to give him some eyelids because that gives him that really happy but tired sort of droopy look that Spike is also well known for. I'm just using the ballpoint tool here to give him some nostrils. I swear I'm not picking his nose. And when you're happy with the shape, you can stick it onto the body. Now we're going to want to give him his little toes. I'm just using my dental pick tool here to start adding in those wrinkles. I really enjoy doing this part on my sculptures. I don't know why. It just seems kind of relaxing. If you guys ever want to know what tools I use or want to buy them for yourself, you can find links, affiliate links, down below in my description where you can purchase most of the things that I use in all of my tutorials. Okay, now we're just using a circle cutter here to punch out some little circles, which I'll be using for his toenails. Oh, I had this rough encounter with this fly, but you know, us Aussies have got a way to deal with that. Okay, back to the toes. So just gently squash them in where we made the holes earlier. And just make sure not to make them too sharp and pointy because Spike is, after all, a rather friendly guy. Next I'm doing little indentations for his little, I don't know what you'd call them, but the spikes of a stegosaurus. But in his case, since he's a little baby fella, they're only quite small. So gently get them into place and then you can finish off detailing down his back. I'm just using my dental pick tool and a silicone tool again. Now for the fun part. we have the pan pastels once again. And we're going to start by doing his belly. The reason why I start with the belly is so that when I add the greens later, the green dusty powder doesn't go down onto the belly and stick to the clay. Like what we're going to do now. So I've got a nice variety of greens here, and I'm going to lightly apply them to the clay. That way there's still plenty of tacky clay left to apply other colours and shades later. So I'm starting with a mid-range tone green, and I cover his whole body. And then when I'm happy with that, I come in and I start to do the shadows in the shaded areas. This gives him more definition and a little bit more character. And don't forget those tricky tight areas like his nostrils and his earlobes. And lastly, we're going to come in with a nice bright green. I love my bright colours. This really makes him pop. It also tidies up the transitions between the darker shades and the mid-tones. If you guys want to know more about how to use pan pastels, I actually have a really good in-depth tutorial on my Patreon. Details in the description below.
Ducky! Hello!
Okay, now on to Ducky. Now Ducky's only a little cutie, so we don't need to do a full body armature for her, but I do use a little piece of wire which you might not see in this video, just to support her neck and her body. So we're going to start with doing the legs here. Just shape them to how you'd like them. I'm going to have her standing on his back, so sort of gone for a crouchy standy pose. Once you're happy with both of the legs, we can move on to the arms. Because she's going to be crouching, I've decided to bend at the elbows, and we're just going to do her little fingers now. I love having a flat silicone tool at this point to help me shape them, because my fingers aren't going to get inside those little cracks. And when you're done with those, we can move on to the head. Now, although Ducky is an adorable character, her face, I'm not a big fan of the nose, so it took me a little while to do this sculpt. I've also got some eyes here that I've purchased off Etsy. These are a smaller size compared to Spike's eyes, so make sure that if you're doing different size characters that you compensate for that. Once again with my silicone tip tool to add in the details and the shape of her face. Don't forget to add some eyelids. And of course a little lump on the back of her head. I don't know the professional name for this, so we're just going to go with lump. Alright, when you're happy with the design of her head and face, we can move on to the next part. So that's figuring out how we want her to sit on Spike's back. So I just do a loose fit here without joining any of the components, just to see if I like where it's going, and then I come in later with my silicone tip tool and I start smoothing around the edges so that the pieces blend seamlessly together. There we go, she's all done, and I've used some Bacon Bond to attach her to Spike's back as well. Okay, now we're going to use 2 shades of grey to do her. The reason why I don't use as many is because she's quite a bright little character. Doesn't require all the different shading. I really actually quite love these bright coloured pan pastels. You can also find a link to them below in my description. It is an affiliate link, so I will get a little bit of a commission, but there's no extra charge on your end. It's a great way to support your favourite artists. Okay, now into the oven for one last bake.
You should come out. You should. You are late. Yes, you are. Yep, yep, yep.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's video tutorial on how to make Spike and Ducky, and I also want to give a huge thank you, Rooney, to my fantastic patrons. And if you really liked today's tutorial but you missed out on my last one, don't forget to check it out up here, because that's how we make Littlefoot. And until next time, when we'll be doing Sarah and Petrie, I'll see you later. Bye!